back to episode 4. If you've missed the previous 3 videos, I'll put a link in the description below. So in the last video you may have seen where I was driving it around the backyard, everything was loose. It was basically a rig rundown. I took it around the backyard just to see how it would steer and all those sorts of things, how it performed, the balance of weight was like, and let me tell you, it was terrible. Because I sit so far over the rear now, when I accelerate, the front lifts up, no weight on the steering, I can't steer anymore, so I was hard locked just driving forward, which made it really hard to turn around the backyard. The other thing was, bits and pieces of the back falling off, the side step fell off. So in this episode, I'm going to pull it all apart. I'm going to take the frame off the chassis, the lower section of the original quad. I'm going to put it on the welding table. I'm going to flip it over. I've got an exhaust leak. I've got various bits of the frame that needs to be welded up. Yeah, so I'm just going to neaten everything up because I really don't like the way it is at the moment. It was basically really rough together just to see how it works. And now that I know that it does work, I'm just going to refine everything that's on the build. So stick around, follow the video, and let's get into it. So now I've cut the frame out of the Ranger. You can see it looks pretty good, nothing else on the bolted to it or anything like that, but there's a lot of gaps here and there where I didn't really take the time to make sure that they joined up well when I mocked it all together. So what I'm going to do is just get some flat bar, I'm going to fill the gaps in, going to grind it down. After I finish that, I'm going to work on the other bits of structural components on here and neaten it all up and finish this off and maybe give it a paint job. What an absolute mission that was. I've spent a few hours, I went around the entire frame, I've welded up all the gaps, everything, all the discrepancies that I had in there, I've corrected. Now I'm left at the point where I've just got to grind everything down, make it look neat, put a bit of paint on there, and then move on to the next step. Now that I've got the frame all welded up and whatnot, I'm pretty happy with that. It's all come together pretty good. I'm gonna work on this exhaust system. Now I'm gonna work out how to take it off. When I was running before, I put my hand down underneath this section just here, and I could feel the exhaust gases hammering out of there. So when I had it running, it sounded really loud from this section just here, rather than sounding really loud from about just there. So that's what I'm gonna look into now. Pretty sure just there, that's like exhaust putty all flaked off, and there's a massive split all the way right down just there. So gonna grind all that back and see if I can weld that up. Here's the final product. I used the TIG welder that I've had for a long time because I could use low amperage and stitch it back together with some stainless steel filler rod. Corrected a split that's up there as well. And then I've also welded in angle change section that I put in before. I'm just gonna buff those welds down, make it look a bit more neat, put some paint on it, and then we're good to go.
Turn up the bass.
time that I correct one thing on this, I swear I just make the next thing not work. So since I've had it upside down and I've welded a lot more of the frame together and finished that off, I made some adjustments because it wasn't running true under the plastic body. And because I've made some adjustments, now the steering doesn't reach, which is probably a good thing, because in the last video I talked about how the brake lever was hitting on the screen. So now that we've moved forward, you know, probably a couple of centimeters just there, hoping that once I fix that up and put it back together, probably won't hit the windscreen anymore. Fingers crossed. getting close to the end of the build. Pretty happy with that. It's taken so long. So where I'm up to right now is basically I'm about to get the battery, which is just over here. That little battery just there. I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna find a spot to mount it in the engine bay. So this is the little battery that I was just talking about just then. I'm gonna make a little tray for it to sit just there, which is just inside that engine bay. It's easy to get to, easy to disconnect, easy to charge. The oil tank and the fuel tank are gonna sit right next to it. So once that I get that mounted, I can neaten up all the wiring just around the front here, which is what I've done previously. I mounted the little switch pack that's usually on the handlebars. I put a little stalk and I welded it to a plate and then bolted that on just there. So we've got the cancel engine and we've got the engine start just there, which is pretty cool. Let's get into it. Babe, I broke my wrist.